Hey, Peter.
Hey, what's up?
Why so serious?
Wait. Last time we were why so.
You don't read comic books, do you?
No.
Okay.
Oh wait, this will be a good example of our outtake.
There we go. There's our first one. Thanks.
We
YouTube.
were talking about what's up, YouTube.
YouTube. You can see some outtakes. Yeah.
This is not even really an outtake. This what do we call it? False start. False start.
I mean, we just call that one just bad. You want to try
That was
another
bad.
one?
Yeah, we're gonna do another one.
Hey, Peter.
These are not scripted, by the way. Well, that's they're not. I mean,
Obviously not.
Hold on, I got almonds stuck in my. That's gross. Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up, Adam?
Peter.
Yo.
This is very, very serious business today.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Jazz.
Oh,
It's a serious subject.
Is it?
It won't be made fun of.
Why are you so hostile?
I don't know. I'm Adam Maness.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Jazz-splained.
Jazz.
We're gonna jazz-splain today.
We're gonna mansplain. We're gonna jazz-plain.
What did you? No, mansplain.
Okay.
What is that thing you taught me? I was so embarrassed I didn't know. It was like, you called it. Talk about splaining. Planing.
Oh, this is a Brian Fielding. Shout out to Brian Fielding.
Oh, okay. So that's not like a worldwide phenomenon.
Well,
thing.
it is, and you do it. But it's
Planing.
just it's a name I hadn't heard before. We started hanging out with Brian, but it's basically where you take, like if you have C minor, right, and with your left hand you do these fourth voicings, planing them across the diatonic scale, right?
We could splain some planing on an episode.
We can plane.
When you said
planing,
planing, I was thinking about how my Saturday was spent. Big shout out to Delta Airlines for the 3-hour delay. Instead of planing, I was more like terminaling, just sitting.
Just play the right note.
Exactly.
Delta.
That's what I wanted Delta to do. Anyway, cool. But we're not talking about planing today. What are we talking about?
Today we are talking about how serious some people perceive jazz.
Well, that was an awkward segue there, wasn't it?
I know. Well, so we got a voicemail here from Cliff. By the way, you could leave us your message by going to you'llhearit.com. Leave us a speak pipe.
Which is the same as a voice message.
It's
just
the
to be
same as a
clear.
voice message. That's what we've been doing here.
It's also the same as a voice memo.
It could be. No one says voice memo. No, voice memo goes into your phone. It's like Tuesday, 4:10 p.m.
Oh, what's the thing?
Need to
Big shout
record
out
it.
to
You'll hear
Brian
it
Owens,
with,
great vocalist. What's the thing he's always
Dude,
sending us?
Brian Owens will not text with text.
It's a voice memo.
It's always a voice memo. It
Right.
always disappears 10 seconds later.
It's ephemeral.
It is ephemeral. Okay, so we've got a voice memo from Cliff, but just before we do that, shout out to our new YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out the new You'll Hear It YouTube channel, go there, subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel now, watching, as we're uploading every episode to YouTube
That's right.
now. Again, like
Thanks
we used
for
to
backing us into
back
that
in the
corner,
day. Subscribe.
Yep.
Put the bell on. We're going live here all the time.
Like and subscribe.
Let's do
That's
it.
what kids say.
So this is from Cliff.
Hey, Peter and Adam, you guys are awesome. Just more of an intermediate jazz player, and I play in a lot of rock bands. But every once in a while, I do a wedding, and they want a nice little standard. And you guys are funny, and you complement each other, your styles and your personality. Really entertaining, and it's a real boost. I really look forward to maybe once or twice a month. I tune in and pick up a couple of cool ideas to add to my repertoire.
Come on, Cliff.
I really appreciate all you do. Awesome. And thanks for the sense of humor. Right? Jazz sometimes is all real serious, and you guys bring a lot of humor to the table. So really appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Okay. Thanks, Cliff. But I thought you said it was a question. It was just more of a comment, right?
That was a great comment, though.
Yeah, it was kind of a backhanded compliment.
I mean, we'll take it. Thank you, Cliff.
Well, he's very complimentary, but then he said he only tunes in once or twice a month. We're on 3 times a week last time
I know.
I checked.
I know. Maybe he goes and he just catches up.
Maybe
Like-
our charm, so he said we're funny, we're complimentary. By the way, beautiful jacket you have on today.
Do tell.
And we're entertaining. Maybe as long as you only listen to us once or twice a month, we are.
I
all
think
those
that's about
things.
the limit. Yeah, that's the threshold. But he did mention like the seriousness that
Right.
jazz is often perceived.
We're
as,
able to
and-
extract the question
But it's so funny
from our dear listeners.
Yeah, it is.
Boom,
It is an interesting point that Cliff makes that like it could seem so serious
Yes.
and heavy at certain times, and there's of course it can be
Right.
like anything that's as lush and rich as this art form is. it has many faces and many facets, you know.
Right.
But I will say, I've never been on a gig, serious or not. I've been on some serious gigs. I've been on some very lighthearted gigs. Musicians in general are fairly lighthearted. Even people who play serious music are some of the funniest people I know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So why? So is this a mask that we're putting on when we try to be serious jazz musicians?
I
Maybe
do think-
so.
I
It's
do
a little
think-
inaccurate.
Well, but no, there are serious people playing the music, and there can be a serious art.
Well, let's try this.
Yeah.
If I say, I want you to name the first person that comes to mind.
Yeah.
If I say serious tradition jazz musician leader, who comes to mind?
Serious?
Serious.
Wynton?
You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was just, I mean,
I think because
right?
you put in tradition in there just to
tradition.
sort of
yeah,
like,
but I mean, like, respect the tradition, serious jazz.
But I would also put, Cecil Taylor as serious.
Yeah.
Or Ornette Coleman as serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the music feels very, very
way
heavy.
shorter,
Yeah.
perhaps.
But like people like Buddy Rich, who was an entertainer,
Right.
was a serious dude.
Right.
That was
seriously
a serious
mean
man.
from what I hear, right?
I'm sure he had a great sense. He seems like the kind of guy who would be a fun hang at the right circumstance. Just
As long as you're not the
bus.
butt of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But no, Cliff makes a good. I think people, especially people who maybe not are in on green room hangs or tour bus hangs or airport hangs,
Right.
or after gig restaurant hangs or bar hangs.
But is it like we can only hang and not be serious amongst jazz musicians? Because like he's saying, he's Cliff's primarily playing rock.
Yeah.
And then he comes into jazz and kind of like, why is everybody so serious? I think that we think we're so precious. We're so skilled because we are.
Well, that could be it too, is because we actually do.
So
I think-
sorry, go ahead.
No, I think a lot of jazz musicians naturally take the music very, very seriously, even if you're playing if you're Ray Brown and you're playing with Oscar Peterson, it's very lighthearted style, right? But they're taking it very seriously. So maybe that idea of like, you can't come in here faking the funk. You can't come in here,
That's very much a part of our tradition.
It's actually can be a little bit part of, there's some gatekeeping is what I'm saying.
There's a lot of
maybe that's
gatekeeping,
what
traditionalism.
could be perceived as a seriousness.
But where is the line between, being serious, taking something seriously, being highly skilled, respecting it, and then it becoming pretentious, ostentatious, elitist, right? Because, I mean, that's part of the seriousness does kind of push over into elitism, I think, a little bit, with some people that listen to jazz, play jazz, and part of just sort of the jazz aesthetic, right? Oh, you don't know such and such? Like, that's kind of rare. Maybe you see that in the classical world, where people are like, oh, you haven't heard this record?
Yeah.
We don't do that around here.
We don't do that around here. I mean, this is not we're Midwestern guys. You know what I mean? We're just like, we're here for.
But I think there's too much of that in jazz. I'm gonna call it out right now.
Well, there's certainly.
I'm feeling a little bit.
Okay, I think we're really uncovering this, Cliff. This is actually your softball question, quote unquote. Is no? There definitely is a corner in, let's say, we'll just say New York jazz journalism.
Yeah.
That feels very elitist.
Yeah.
That feels very downtown. We're making things that should be hard and difficult. You know what I mean?
That you have to do homework to come to the gigs. That's what I'm not a fan of.
That's tough.
Like because there's been a number, and this is not particular to any of the different vines that have come off of the jazz world, the different streams. But I think that anytime you go into this thing of like, don't come here unless you've done your homework, you have to know, you have to listen in a certain way. Like, what happened to like, you're coming to be entertained, you're coming to be uplifted, you're coming to, certainly a serious attitude of listening, but also like the human element of dance and tapping your foot and all these things. Can't that be serious? Can't we have a seriously good time? You know what I mean?
No, of course.
Like, when did we lose? And I'm not saying we have lost it, but we haven't lost that in the music, I don't think. But there's certain parts and components of different kind of subgenres that seem to be pushing that away, when I think that that's such a primal and important part of the jazz tradition. It's what it was born from. You listen to a Louis Armstrong. I mean, it doesn't get any more traditional than that. Go back to King Oliver and this stuff that there was a reason it's still around and people are still listening to it. It was joyful. It was not, I don't think, serious. I mean, it's seriously badass music, but I don't think like serious, like, Burr, your Frau in this music is the first thing that comes to mind when you listen to this stuff. And I feel like that, when we try to portray it as too serious and too precious. I mean, let the historians and the theorists look and call something genius or serious or whatever. That's fine to analyze it as that, and the brilliance of this music, of course. But I think to the listeners, it shouldn't be serious. It should be joyful, right?
So I'm going to refer here, Peter, or defer to our hit video on YouTube. Shout out YouTube. On our
shout out to the algorithm.
So this is one of the very first You'll Hear It episodes that's up on our old Open Studio channel.
Okay.
I feel like I don't want to retire the old Open Studio channel at all, but
no.
This is where You'll Hear It used to go.
Oh, you're going to play something?
No, I'm not going to play anything.
Okay.
I'm going to refer to just the first few comments here.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of answering why people think this. Dirk says, the problem with a lot of jazz is where the musician's chops and knowledge of music theory have reached such a level that they feel compelled to showcase it at every opportunity. It can be exhilarating to watch live, but on record it sounds, ironically, a bit one note.
Yes.
So again, and then Eric says, I'm an amateur jazz musician. I often think jazz is like an inside game for the musicians to have a blast together playing, but that is really difficult for most listeners to find a way into as listeners.
Yeah.
And then, and then Benjamin says, 4 minutes into this podcast and my point is proven with a long-winded explanation to an easy answer. Jazz musicians just love to hear themselves talk. And on that note, Benjamin, I think we've...
I mean, just play the right notes.
No, the other one.
On that note. Peter, this is fun, though. I love talking about this kind of stuff because I feel like people do... paint some of these cultures as a monoculture, and it's really not, man. There's so much variety in this. But I will say, I just reiterate again, like most of the musicians I know are super chill.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some serious people and very like demure people, very stoic personalities. But in general, most musicians I know are chill and funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And lighthearted.
Well, I'm trying to think who from our generation would folks think about as like the most serious musician in
Brad
terms
Meldau.
of Brad Meldau. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Chris Davis,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brad, I don't know Chris as well, but Brad is like a very funny guy.
Yeah.
And fun. I hadn't hung with him or seen him for a while. I mean, obviously during the pandemic, I saw him in Europe earlier this year, and he sat in on the gig, which was, that's fun to play some. And then Christian McBride saying, now we're going to bring up Brad Meldau. And he
Branford
comes.
is considered pretty serious, I think.
Okay, I'll tell the rest of my story another time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just kidding. Okay, Branford's a great example too. Branford is very serious.
On that.
No, Branford's very serious, but he's got a really free, joyous side to him that is mostly coming out in his music, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. Well, thank you, Cliff. Again, if you want to leave us a voice message, go to you'llhearit.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the new You'll Hear It YouTube channel.
Where would they find that?
They can find that at
youtube.com/you'll hear it.
And there you go.
Whoa.
And thanks, Peter. Super fun, man.
That's right. Until next time.
You'll hear it. Can't stop this guy.
I like this.
YouTube, thanks for sticking around.
Was that serious enough episode for you? That was some serious YouTube. Did we answer the question? Oh, there wasn't a question. That's why we were kind of stumbling over ourselves.
There wasn't even a question.
Right.
YouTube, if you have your thoughts on who the most serious jazz musician is of this generation, still alive, still kicking, who has a serious, like who's someone you wouldn't want to
have a debate with? Or?
Yeah, or wouldn't want to like get on their bad side, or you know what I mean? Like someone who is like, that person does not seem like they would be a fun. Well, let's not go that far.
Okay, why don't you name yours, since we're encouraging people to put them in the comments. You name yours, I'll name mine, and then we'll be out of here.
Okay.
Oh, he's nervous. He's furrowing
I'm trying to
his
think
brow.
now. I'm trying to think. So someone who appears to be like, I don't know. It's hard because
Well, you said Bradford was. You thought of him as kind
Bradford,
of.
he's intimidating to me.
So would you?
I've met him a couple times. I'm sure he doesn't remember me, but like, he's a force of nature.
Yeah.
I'm intimidated by his musical presence, but also I feel like he's a real
Yeah.
He's a heavy guy,
I'm going to say Wynton Marsalis. It's funny, we're saying in the same family. Plus, I want to call him out because Wynton is supposed to be coming on the pod. Did I tell you this? He's agreed to come
nice.
on. In fact, last time I saw him, he even said, when am I going to do the thing? But then we're having some schedule snafus, i.e. his people are not responding in a timely manner. So I'm calling you out, Mr. Serious Guy. We want you on the pod. Drop in the comments if you'd like to see that, and we will debate with Wynton if he's too serious or not. Because he's he's a fun guy too, but he's very serious. Like you're never that many steps away from stuff getting serious. You know what I mean?
Hey, speaking of that whole New Orleans crew, shout out to Victor Goins for the new gig at CEO
That's right.
as Jazz St. Louis here. Just
CEO
up the
and
street.
president.
CEO and president Victor, congrats.
He's the executive. He has the C-suite on lockdown.
He's in the neighborhood, man.
It's so awesome. He was just here, going to be a friend of the pod. Well, already a friend of the pod, but going to be back here. We're super excited about that. So cool.
Awesome.
All right, YouTube.
Peace.
Out.